With a bit of practice, you can turn an ordinary playing card into a projectile. But I noticed that in most videos, people could either throw the cards accurately from up close or throw them far but without control. Why not both? So in this video, I'm going to try and learn to throw cards with both accuracy and distance. And I'm going to try and recreate this shot of sticking a card in an apple from as far away as possible. And hopefully I don't break anything, because these cards can do some serious damage. But before we can even think of getting the apple, we need to figure out how to get these cards to go anywhere. Because here's the thing, if you just throw them normally, during my binge watching sessions, I noticed that everyone threw cards like you throw a frisbee. So I think you also have to add rotation to the card so that it stays flat and it can cut through the air. So I picked up some cards and started playing around with my grip to try and figure out how I could add the most spin. Seems like we have our first victim. My line statue was pushed off by a card, and it seems to have broken its horn. But it's nothing a plaster can't fix. Much better. Anyways, I'm having the most success with what I like to call the gun grip. What you want to do is form a gun with your hand and pinch the corner of the card with the tip of your fingers, but not too tightly so that the card can still rotate. Then you want to fold your fingers back and fold your wrist back, and then just pew, 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 pew. And you should manage to throw cards quite consistently. Although that is pretty good, my throws are only reaching here when the apple's gonna be all the way over there. And so for step 2, we're just gonna try and work on distance. And again, I'm thinking frisbee. When you throw frisbee, you don't want it to wobble, because it won't cut through the air as well. And to prevent the wobble, you just have to spin the frisbee faster. And why is that, I hear you ask? I don't know. I just make silly videos on the internet. But I'm hoping the cards act the same way. I've been trying to spin these cards with all my strength for literally days now, and I'm making no progress. So I slowed everything down to try and figure out what I was doing wrong. And it turns out that it's only at the end of the throw, when you're rotating your wrist, that you're actually adding spin to the card. For the rest of the throw, your card actually stays at the same angle. So I tried again, but this time, I only flicked my wrist to throw the card. And pretty soon, I was throwing them far quite consistently. I'm not sure you can hear this, but they're making a lot of noise when they're hitting the wall. It's a wall, so I know it's gonna be fine, but it does sound pretty brutal. I've just discovered that the wall was not fine after all. Seems like the impact of the cards has stained the wall. And so I've now got the distance, but my accuracy still sucks, which is good news if you're Team Apple. And so for step 3, I'm just gonna focus on accuracy. To test the world record for accuracy, you have to shoot a 30 centimeter target from about 2 meters away. And if you use Imperial, so I found a picture of a big apple.
This is New York.
Set up my target and started practicing. I've literally been practicing for days and my aim is not improving. The annoying thing is that I don't know what I'm doing wrong, because I feel like I'm doing the same movement every time and I'm just getting different results. So I'm not too sure at the moment. So this is like day 18, 19, I don't know anymore. But I've made a massive breakthrough. Instead of looking at the target when I'm throwing, I'm now looking at my hand, and more specifically, the angle of the card when it leaves my hand. Because although I felt that every throw I was doing felt exactly the same, I realized that the angle at which I was releasing the card was all over the place. If the card's tilted to the right, it's gonna fly to the right. And if it's tilted to the left, then it's gonna fly to the left. So what you want is to release the card as flat as possible. And in theory, it should fly straight. I can't believe it's taken me 20 days to figure this out. I mean, it's just so obvious. Just to give you a visual representation of how long this took, every single one of these lines is the impact of a card. And that's only the cards that actually hit the foam board. It's taken me a few days to kind of get the technique right and make sure that I'm always releasing the cards flat. And I'm hitting the target pretty consistently now. Now, I've got the accuracy, I've got the distance, and it's finally time to take on the apple. I treated myself to a brand new pack of cards because the old ones are pretty beat up. And I've got my super professional setup ready, which will be about 5 meters from where I'm throwing the cards. So let's give it a go. Put this in context. This is over twice as far as the criteria for the world record, with a target that's about a tenth of the size.
So close every time. Oh, it touched the apple, come on. Look at that. That's perfect. Look at that. From all the way over there. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Look at the size of this target. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Right, so is learning to throw cards accurately and with distance hard? The answer is yes. I mean, just thinking about it, I spent over a month practicing pretty much daily. But I think a big part of that was that I spent so much time discovering simple things. So in theory, it shouldn't have to take that long. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do all the likey, subscribey, and commenty stuff. And I'll see you hopefully quite soon. Ciao!